E-mini S&Ps end the week moving higher, seeing a range of 5104 up to 5146. They're going to close out the week just north of 5130, up over 1% on the day, but up over 2.5% on the week. And if you go back to last Friday, where we dipped below 5,000 for the first time since February, we're actually up well over 3% from those lows. So a big shift from the declines that we had seen leading up to last Friday to where we are today as equities have rallied again, 2.5% on the week, 1% on the day, closing at just north of 5130. Now, what does this mean for volatility? Well, taking a look at those volatility charts, we did see some spikes when we were trading below 5,000 last Friday. However, from those peaks, we have fallen as equities have risen. That's kind of the relationship. As equity indices rally, we see volatility moving lower. It's exactly what we saw this week. In fact, we're ending on the weekly lows in volatility. Lastly, let's talk about what we have next week. Well, next week is an action-packed week, not just because we get the typical economic data, but we have May FOMC. The Fed chair will be giving a press conference after May FOMC. We have non-farm payrolls on Friday, and this amidst all the earnings that we continue to get. So a lot going to be crammed into next week. The key going to be Mr. Powell's press conference after May FOMC. Market not expecting any change in policy, however, looking for some clarity based on what we've heard from other Fed presidents and based on recent inflation readings, how the Fed is going to handle this, because the market has taken out pretty much 2 of the 3 rate cuts that were priced a few weeks ago or even a few months ago that were priced in are no longer there. Right now, we're seeing the first potential rate cut coming in September with a possibility of a second coming later in the fourth quarter. So as we come to the end of this week, we see E-minis rallying off those lows from last week, getting all the way up north of 5130 ahead of next week's May FOMC, Mr. Powell's press conference, non-farm payrolls, as well as more earnings.